Okay, are you hearing me well? Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity of talking to you today. I'd like to thank also the UXDX organization for setting this all up, and I would like to ask claps for them because they did it all. Okay, yeah. So today we're going to do a little adventure into uncharted waters of design leadership, and I hope you enjoy and you like this journey with me. First of all, today is Children's Day in Brazil, so all Brazilians usually change their profile pictures to old pictures they have. This is me at 5 in Rio de Janeiro, yeah, in a really proud position because I climbed a rock of 2 meters, right? I was born in this place. It was a scarcity environment, but my parents were fantastic. They were super creative on this scenario and teaching me a lot about resilience and how to be a leader since of the beginning, right? So I'm living in Amsterdam for 2 years. I got married recently with Talita. We did the best party of the year. Probably a Vogue magazine will give a prize to us or something. I don't know. I like to sail boats in tropical islands. And my career in UX started with an unsatisfaction because I hate bureaucracy and I hate to have bad experience as customer. If you want to see me sad, send me to a bank agency and let me wait in the line for time, okay? So, talking a little bit more about my career, I started in design many years ago, but my first experience as a leader was at Conta Azul, this last company. I started there as the first employee. It was a garage startup with me and the founders only. I was the only UX. And after 3 years working there, they just said, okay, you are the oldest designer in the company, manage. And then I said, okay, I never fired someone, I never hired someone, I never evaluated, I never reported, I know nothing about management. I know everything about design, right? After that, I worked in another startups like Use, it was InsurTech, Hotmart was a creative economy startup, and now I work at Bol.com. Bol.com is the biggest e-commerce in Netherlands, where I live, and also in Belgium, and that's it. So when I was working at Use, I started sharing a little bit about this journey when a designer joins in this management and leadership adventure, and then I found many people that was already also struggling on this position, like, oh, I just recently got to management and found some common people with me. After that, I started doing some courses of design leadership workshops, and now, 6 years later, we did 26 editions with more than 1,000 students already teaching design leadership. And then my purpose with these workshops was always to help design leaders to be more conscient, more confident, and more prepared to lead. So I decided to split my presentation into 3 chapters. So we're going to go into the orange, green, and blue color. Okay? The first one is to be conscient about the current situation of design leadership, right? Basically, UX design is easy, right? You agree? You have to know about ergonomics, you have to know about metrics, you have to know about service, about Figma, about prototype, about variables now, about coding sometimes, about facilitation. And then you feel like this guy, yes, I'm trying to learn these all. But in the end, what we do, interfaces. And I see that the community is not proud anymore about this thing. Oh, I don't do UI anymore. I'm a UX. I'm a product designer. But it's important to understand what it means to do interfaces. Interface is anything between faces, right? It's super broad. So in this case, the hammer is an interface between her hand and the nail. Try to nail with your hand, it will be much harder. So you have an interface like a hammer to help her with the jobs to be done that she has. But interfaces in the end can be interactions, services, products, platforms, processes, experience. So doing interface is broad. It's not specific, right? And then, in the end, design is not a science. We have many variations, many methods, and there's no recipe to design that you can replicate the same scenario and guarantee the same results. So that's why it's not science. I see designers as treasure hunters, because we go from clue to clue more near the final treasure. So we try to find this treasure that usually is product market fit, and then we open this box to the product managers, to other people, and say, yeah, I found gold. But everybody is always with a shovel asking, hey, can I dig? And then you say, no, 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 wait, I'm still finding the next clue, right? In the end, the purpose of UX design is to humanize things, right? We want to guarantee that things are more desirable, more useful, more easy to use, more trustful. And then it turns to be the pitch of design. It's underlying in our conversation with business. In the end, we believe that if the product is more humanized, then it will be better to business. There's no guarantee of that. We have lack of evidence of it. But we believe, as a community, that if you have more desirable, you're going to have more trust, more loyalty, more recommendation, more member get member, better NPS, a better PSAT, and a better, more cross-selling, more average ticket, and go on business metrics. In the end, we are trying to lower the risks of launching something and fail bad. About confidence. When you lead people, you have to be secure about yourself. You have to inspire people and make them feel safe in which direction you are going. So we studied a lot, and we became the design unicorn. Who here feels like a unicorn that knows methods of design, can facilitate, can prototype, can do anything in design? Don't be shy. Okay, we are hiring, okay? I will share a QR code in the end, so I'm going to talk later. But then, suddenly, when you are this unicorn, you turn to have this opportunity to lead, to be a principal, to be a staff, to lead a project, maybe. And then, there are some assumptions that when people got promoted, oh, now people will work for me, I can do whatever I want, yeah, because I'm a leader. Business will finally understand me because now I have a seat on the table, right? Or, I will work much less because people will be working for me. I can say, I can spoil you, it's not true, okay? And then suddenly, you come to a board table as that strong unicorn you were, and then you turn to be a baby shark inside of a shark tank, right? You face these people that are super experienced in business. They are there doing this for 20 years. They've grown billionaire companies before. They talk another language. They use many abbreviations that designers are not familiar with. And then you just feel like, hey, they gave me the crayon to do some drawings while they discuss the things, right? And then I like a lot this quote from Alvin Toffler that he says, if you don't have a strategy, you are part of someone else's strategy. Basically, if you don't define your strategy, someone will include you in their strategy, and in the end, you are just servicing as designer. So it's important to define or be defined, right? I have this phrase tattooed in my belly here because it guides my life. If you don't decide, you are also deciding. If you don't have a plan, someone will have. So it's important to define what's your vision, where you want to go with the design or the team you are leading. But okay, what's common between good leaders? I don't know if you have seen the Playoff Netflix series. It's a good selection of leaders talking about their experiences as leaders. Every leader has a cause or a purpose behind. They also have followers when they convince this cause to other people, so people start following them. Basically, they also have antagonists, because any time you want to change something, you're going to find people that love the inertia, the way it is. They want to stay as it is. And then you're going to have to be brave and with fear, because braveness is not fearless. Braveness is go even with fear inside yourself. So you have to position yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to challenge the status quo, and then you're also going to have your imperfection and flawless, because no leader is perfect. Leadership is a visceral journey. You're going to deal with many emotions, many tough decisions. The higher you go, the less mentorship you're going to have, the less clear it is the next step you're going to give, you know. There is a book that talks a lot about this. It's not a design book, it's a business book, I can say. It's called The Hard Things About Hard Things. It's from Ben Horowitz. It's full of cases of hard, tough decisions that a leader face in their career. Okay, how to be prepared to be a good leader? The first thing is to understand that going to management is not a career evolution. It's not a promotion. It's a career change. You're going to go to another area. It's not a continuation of design. You're going to have to study other things. You come from this background where you know many skills of design, and you have the necessity to learn as soon as possible many management skills like budget, hiring, career, evolution, feedback, evaluation, tough trade-offs, decision-making, all those things. It's important to differentiate what's management and what's leadership. Management is to make things stay as they are. So when you manage, you want to have control of things. You want to have predictability. So you don't want things to change when you manage. You want things under control. When you lead, you are trying to have movement. You are pushing people forward. You know, they are almost the opposite. If you see, this is movement, this is stay, right? And they also have different skills, but leadership is much more on the will, on the soft skills, on the behavioral part, and management is something more learnable, like more technical skills that you can learn, right? In between these two, you're probably going to have to do both if you manage people. You're going to have to lead, have the posture, but you're also going to have to report. But if you are a craft design leader, you're going to have to take care of all these automations also about the design process, because you are a leader in a specific set of roles, right? Start from yourself. If you don't lead yourself, you won't lead anyone. And my question here is, who is in charge of your life? Are you leading your life or just following what happens, right? If you don't lead yourself, you can't lead other people. So how do you re-energize? Are you re-energizing in Red Bull, coffee, games, and cola? Or are you really re-energizing when you have some punch that will going to happen during your career? Another important fact is how dependent you are from your job. If your personal life depends on that job to pay the bills, probably you won't be brave enough. You won't take the risks to be a leader. So having financial safety is also important. Most of the people get promoted and also raise the cost of life because, oh, now I have more money. It's important to have safety and savings. In the end, what I suggest you is to be Sapiens. Sapiens is a book from Harari. Yeah, he also wrote 21 lessons of 21st century, right? Something like this. But this thing is basically that you graduated in design, but you are not a designer. Design is just a tool in your belt. You can put more things in the belt. Probably most of the people here in this audience will live 100 years. You can graduate much more than just your first graduation that you did when you were young. Don't let these define what you're going to be to the rest of your life. Yeah, and I had this professor, we called him Sawada, that when I graduated, he said this. I was doing 2 graduations at the same time, one at night, one at the morning, and he said, don't let the university be in the way of your studies. And I took that and I started studying anything, like economics, anthropology, because it was free, the university was free. So now we're going to pass through 3 steps that I recommend you to do this career transition. The first one is learn, and we're going to do learn, earn, and return, okay? Learn, you're going to have to read other books. You're going to have to go to other events. Stop going only in design events. Stop going only on development events. Open your mind to other areas, because if you don't have something in common with these other people you're going to relate, you can't have communication. You have to have something in common to speak their language. Also, I recommend you to have other mentors, other alliances. That is not common. It's not on the design bubble anymore. Earn. What I mean by earn, you have to earn the respect from the people around you. What I recommend is to frame a small, specific problem that you can solve this month. Don't go for everything. Don't go overcomplicated, overthinking what's your mission. Another good advice is to trust your team. If you don't trust them, they won't trust you, okay? You have to do the first step. Trust your team, delegate things, and expect they will succeed. Another important thing is to build this team building, this camaraderie around you, where people likes to help each other. It's important to have this feeling, this vibe, this good vibe around you. So you're gonna have some quick wins, some early wins, and probably this will be more connected with lead indicators. For example, now I'm researching more, our prototypes are more consistent. In the first moment, it will be lead indicators, but don't forget to aim for the needle movement in the KPIs. And also, don't forget your origin. So return means that you have to always remember your purpose. In the end, you're not designing for yourself, you're designing for someone else. You have to be user-centric. You have to care about them, not about you in the end. Share your learnings because you learn a lot when you teach people, and show fragility. It's not a problem. The best way to get confidence from other people is to show that you are human and you're not perfect, right? And then one common question that I receive from my students is, okay, what differentiates a design leader from any other leader, right? And in my opinion, what differentiates is our principles. When you design, you try to have empathy. You try to get out of the building and face reality. Not every business leader do that, you know? You try to experiment. You can prototype things fast. You can test. And you also can facilitate workshops. This is also a different ability. You can also automate things. You know how to scale. You know how to talk with developers. And you have the storytelling power in your hand. So you know how to tell a story from beginning to the end, and this is also a useful ability. Another important thing that Raya also touched today is to avoid emotional data, avoid the bias, especially when you are doing management things. For example, it's common to hire people similar to you, right? It's a bias. It's also common to defend design at all costs. And in the end, you see that you are just looking for data to prove your emotional conclusion. You know, you're not being neutral to find the truth. You are just taking data to say, yes, I told you I'm right. Yeah? So it's ego in the end. Another suggestion I have is in a board table or with executives, don't defend design. Defend user centricity. Stick to your purpose. It's not about using empathy maps. It's not about using Leanception or design sprints, whatever. It's not about that. In the end, what executives expect from design is that this company is facing the reality, and it's not a fragility to the business. Because if you don't have good relationship with your users, someone else can have, like create a startup and drop the big company because of that fragility. We avoid risk. Design is here to avoid the risk of all the users get out. That's the risk we are trying to avoid. Basically, you're gonna have to stop reading or reading less books of design. And then I did here a graduation of books I read during this year about design and leadership. Actually, it's rare to have a design leadership book. There is one that I like a lot. The name is Lift Off. Okay, you can check it later. Actually, it's not here, but yeah. The name is Lift Off. But most of the books in this side are about hiring, about HR, about financial, about business, about hard decisions. As I mentioned before, unicorns, are you there? Yeah? We have a position, about many positions. You can scan this QR code. And this time now, take your phone because we're going to show many QR codes, okay? So the first one, we have positions. Please sign up. Can I change? I see some cell phones yet? Yes, okay. Another thing that I want to share with you is that during this year, teaching my students about design leadership, I got fascinated by, actually addicted to spreadsheets, right? I love to do formulas, and I love to scale up and to connect things with Webflow and spreadsheets all the time. So I created this website called Leadership Tools. It have an EN in the beginning because it was basically in Portuguese. I translated just for this event, yes. And then you can download these spreadsheets. You can, they are shipped. You can buy them. And then you have a discount code of UXDX. You can buy there. Okay, these will help you to kick off. Okay, I don't know how to do one-on-ones. I don't know how to manage my design system. I don't know how to evaluate skills of my team. I don't know how to manage their salaries and goals, the OKRs, all these things. I have many templates there that you can download. Can I change? Okay. I would like also to thank Deborah. Deborah was the illustrator that did all these fun illustrations. I worked with her for the last 10 years, and she's awesome. She's open for freelance, and if you want to hire her, especially to live in Amsterdam with me, I would love. Okay? So, please. And I have a surprise. I have 5 treasures in this place. Actually, one in each corner, one around the middle. And basically, it's below the chair. It's something like a package like this with golden chocolate coins. Right? But then, if you find these golden chocolate coins, anyone found? Something like this, below the chairs. No? Oh, you're going to have to be more treasure hunters, right? Take the next clue. Okay, okay, don't kill yourself. But then, if you find these, you're going to come later to the side of the stage, and I will give you all the spreadsheets from Leadership Tools. It's treasure, right? For free. And that's it, people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anderson. I'll start with the first question, just for myself, is what do you think are the most common challenges you've seen when you or others are unexpectedly put into leadership positions?
Can you repeat? Because
I can, yeah, I'll come closer because it's always a bit of feedback. So what's the most common challenge you've seen when someone is unexpectedly put into a leadership position? What's the number one thing that you think they're going to come across straight away, what to deal with?
The first challenge you're going to face is to drop the Figma, stop prototyping. Yeah.
Say that again, sorry?
Stop prototyping.
Okay.
Actually. And then the second part you're going to have is to show design value, because it's not easy to measure design. It's not easy to measure user centricity. It's not obvious. It's too subjective. And you can have NPS, you can have PSAT, but they are not enough to measure what you need. And people will try to ask you, why should I invest more in design? Convince me. They will open this question to you, and you have to convince them.
Okay. And we'll move on to questions from the audience. What would you say to a designer who loves to craft design, but is pushed to become a leader in order to grow in his organization?
Yeah.
Push and the pull there.
Yeah. Most of the time, designers think that leadership is something that you're going to face in the future. But actually, design needs leadership since you were a junior. Because if you, there is a phrase from Jared Spool that says that design is the rendering of intent. Design doesn't happen by coincidence. So have you seen a project that a designer analyzed everything and said, yes, let's stay the same. I don't want to change anything. Never saw this project, right? Designers likes to change everything. So if you want to change, you're going to have to lead change. You know, you are already used it to lead. And then it's not optional. Leadership is not something that designers can do later. They are doing now. Otherwise, they won't convince the developers, the GPMs, the stakeholders about what changes they want to do. So I think that being a principal or a staff is not different. You will also be exposed to the board. You will also be contested. You will also have to do a broad perspective to design.
Okay. So how to come back from leadership to design?
Oh, I think it's impossible.
Okay.
If you turn to be a leader once, doesn't mean management, okay? Doesn't mean you can stop managing people, but it's hard to take off the initiative, the visual feeling you have. It's like a virus. When you know what user centricity means, you're going to fight for it. It's an addiction to think about other people, right? To think about, hey, am I doing a relevant product? Am I doing something that let people have a better life or a worse life? We are concerned about this, about humanity, and this is the essence of leadership.
Okay, cool. Someone's asking, can you please share that amazing deck? We'll see, we'll come back to that one. Is it very hard for teams when you're sorry? Is it very hard for teams?
It's very hard to read also. But
yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll try one more time. It's very hard for teams when your lead is an exceptional designer who was given a promotion to manage them, but he starts designing. How do we keep calm with managers like this?
Take off the Figma access. And the mirror also, the mirror board. View only, view only. And tie their hands. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I think that stakeholders are also important in the process. We say all the time that we are user-centric, people-centric, but we don't interview business people to understand what takes off your sleep in the night, what concerns you. We also have to have empathy with our colleagues. They are also trying to achieve an objective. So we also have to listen to this leader and say, okay, what's your concern that makes you open the file? What worries you?
Yeah.
You know? So we also have to empathize with them.
Okay. What was the Netflix film you recommended earlier?
What?
Was it a Netflix film or was it a Netflix documentary that you had recommended earlier?
Oh, I like a lot the playoff, but I will be biased because this day I saw Band of Brothers, you know? Band of Brothers is a lesson of leadership in every chapter, in every episode. And it's hard decision, tough decision. You see the emotional feeling of decisions. And there's also, I don't like wars, but as soon as I'm living in Europe, I'm studying a little bit more to get the context of the countries. And then these days I watch it also World War II in colors. Have you seen that? It's also in Netflix. And in many moments of this documentary, you see that the personality of the leader changed the way the war went. Check it out later. But there are many. I can send a list of links later.
Okay, and that kind of leads into the next question is, can you suggest some books for someone who's preparing on that shift into leadership? Or maybe some training and certificates?
Yeah, there is one that it's called Design Orgs for org design. I never know the name of it. If you type Design Orgs, you're going to find it in the Google.
Yep.
And the lift off is really complete. It shows slowly feedback, and now leveling, and now hiring, and then it's really a step-by-step methodology.
Okay, and this next question is, to me, this talk seems more about design management than design leadership. Do you think that there's a difference?
Yeah, for sure. There is a difference, but you're going to have to wear many hats during your day. Usually, you're going to have a meeting that you're going to face a feedback, a punch in your face, and then you have to go and give feedback to another people or control budget for 1 hour. So you're going to shift from management and leadership during your day, during a week, many times. If I was talking about management much more, I would show how to manage user research, how to manage metrics, how to manage design system, how to manage user insights or whatever. Okay. So, yeah, you can be right, maybe, but yeah.
Okay, someone's asking quite a broad one, but how do you face your first 90 days in a new manager position?
Yeah.
What kind of tips would you have there?
This is a good question. There's a book about it, actually. But my opinion is that you have to always have the curiosity of a researcher and the action of a UX designer, you know? So treat your first 90 days as a research. Every interview, every meeting you have with any stakeholder, it's a data point, you know? Catalog what you learned, and after 1 month, show to your boss, to your chief, to your lead, hey, this is what I mapped interviewing 30 people across the company, and I think this is the problem people are complaining about. Do a research. This is basically my recommendation.
Look at this. Greetings from your design team in the Netherlands. Awesome presentation.
Yay!
Okay, if you could, don't encourage them. Don't. If you could go back in time, the Costa Azul times, which of the learnings you shared today you'd apply first to your younger self?
Yeah, actually, Guilherme is someone that I lead there in Costa Azul. I hope it was a good experience, Guilherme. Yes. I learned many things because at that time I was a complete noob. And at that time, I let my emotions take care of my behaviors many times. And it's bad to a leader. You have to have a posture. You have to control your impulse. And this is, in my opinion, the best way to get rid of the bias you get. So the way you deal with your emotions change the output you're going to give as a leader and the decisions you're going to do. Yeah. So I believe that now I understand myself much more. I know the triggers and the emotional consequences I have, and also what I feel in my body when I'm angry or when I'm super happy. That is also a bias. You know, when you are super optimist, you tend to agree to go with everything on.
Okay, great. I think that's nearly all the questions, is it? I think it is. Okay, listen, much appreciated. Thanks for that talk. That was very interesting. Please put your hands together for Anderson Gomes. And also,